Hello boys and girls. In our last topic session of the week, we're going to be comparing the positives and the negatives of the Great Fire of London. The word positive means good things that happened after the Great Fire. So positive means good, and the word negative means the bad things that happened because of the fire. You're going to need a collection of pictures to help you. If you can't print these off, just get them up on the screen and they're just reminders to help you. Also, you're going to want to have a piece of paper but split it in half like this. And one of your titles is going to be positive effects and the other title is going to be negative effects. Then chop your paper in half. So positive effects means the good things that happened after the fire. The negative effects are the bad things that happened because of the fire. Before we start, I'm just going to talk through each of the images. These images are just a little prompt or idea to help you write about the positive and negative effects. So this is an animal, a bird. So unfortunately, lots of animals died during the Great Fire of London. So do we think this is a positive or a negative? That's right, it's a negative effect. It's terrible that lots of animals died. Here is a plague mask. Now remember, on Monday we talked all about the plague. Now, lots of people know that the plague was bad, but the fire managed to stop the spread of the plague. So do you think that's positive or negative? That's right, it's positive. The fire managed to help stop the plague. Oh, here's another animal, and it would be sad that this animal died. However, these animals, rats, were spreading the Great Plague, and the Great Fire killed lots of these rats, which helped stop the spread of the plague. So the fact that the rats were killed is also a positive because it helped stop the plague. Here we've got a picture of the city being rebuilt, and the houses are much further apart. So would this be a positive or a negative? That's right, it's a positive. Because so many houses were destroyed, the new houses that were rebuilt were built much further apart and much safer. Here is a picture of somebody's belongings being burnt in a fire. Is that a positive or a negative? That's right, it's a negative. It's very sad that people lost lots of their belongings and lots of their items. Here we've got a gravestone which represents people died in the Great Fire of London. However, on record, it only said 6 people died, but we do believe that lots more people died, but it just wasn't recorded at the time. Would this be a positive or a negative? A negative. It's very sad that lots of people lost their life in the Great Fire of London. Here we've got some houses on fire. People's homes and businesses were destroyed. Is this a positive or a negative? That's right, it's negative. It's terrible that people's homes and businesses were destroyed and all their things were lost. Here we've got a picture of a house, and the house has been rebuilt out of bricks and tiles, and it's much safer and much cleaner. Would this be a positive or a negative? That's right, it'd be a positive because the house is now much safer and much cleaner for people to live in London. Okay, boys and girls, we're going to use these images to write about the positive and negative effects of the Great Fire of London. I'm going to start with the plague mask. I'll trim it out and stick him on. Now remember, the plague was a terrible disease and the fire actually stopped the plague. So stick your plague mask on and then write a sentence to explain why. So, a positive effect, and we can use the words positive and effect from here to help us. A positive effect of the fire was that it helped stop the spread of the plague. Full stop. I remember my capital letters, I remember my finger spaces, and I remember my full stops. Now I'm going to choose a negative effect. I'm going to cut out the bird. Very sad that lots of animals lost their life in the Great Fire of London. Stick it on. Then, oh, I need my pen ready. A negative effect, and I can use the word negative effect from my title. A negative effect of the fire, or you could put the Great Fire of London or the Great Fire. A negative effect of the Great Fire was that lots of animals, and then I'm going to put sadly died. Full stop. Okay, let's choose a different one, positive or negative. I think I'm going to go positive and choose the house. Now remember, the house was rebuilt out of better materials, which made it much safer. Stick it on. And to put after the fire, houses were built out of safer materials. This was a positive effect of the fire. So this time I've just switched up the way that I wrote my sentence. I've put about the change first and then told you it was a positive effect afterwards. Oh, a negative effect, I'm going to put that lots of people lost their lovely belongings. Remember, if you can't have these pictures to cut out or print out, you could just draw some pictures to go with yours. So I'm going to write another negative effect of the fire was that people's belongings were, oh, I'm going to use two fancy words here. I'm going to use were damaged, which means that they were broken slightly or a little bit, were damaged and destroyed. Now, if something is destroyed, that's completely broken. You can't use it anymore. Full stop. You're going to carry on using the rest of the pictures and add them to your positive and your negative effects. Remember, capital letters, finger spaces and full stops, and explain why they're positive or why they're a negative effect of the fire. Okay, boys and girls, it's now your turn to decide the positive and negative effects of the Great Fire of London. Remember to write them in sentences with your capital letters, finger spaces and full stops. We can't wait to see what you write about the positive and negative effects. Remember, the pictures are there to help you if you want them. If not, you can write the sentences without or draw your own pictures. Well done this week, Year 2. You've worked so hard on all your topic work, and I can't wait to see what you get up to. Bye, everyone.